Hello, and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We're your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And my name is Caroline. And today we are going to be talking about all kinds of pop culture happenings. There is certainly a lot. But before we get into it, I want to talk about us. I want to talk about myself. I love talking about myself. Let's talk about ourselves and also this amazing episode we just recorded for the Patreon for tiers 2 and 3. It's our Pretty Little Punch Bowl. We did Pretty Little Liars and Taylor Swift, and we just got really into it. It's a really funny episode, and I think you'll all love it. So go check that out. That's our first thing. Shameless plug. All right, next, I want us to talk about what's been going on with us. So Phoebe, I'm ready to hear your fucking takedown of Instagram and their war on privacy. So let's hear it.
Guys, I donated, and this is not me trying to find a reason to plug that I donated to something.
But if the shoe fits.
There was a fundraiser that I saw in someone's story for a local Pittsburgh camp for people with disabilities. And it was World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. And so I donated to it because I knew the person that had it on their story, and I was feeling generous.
Wow.
Little did I know that it was going to broadcast to every single one of my followers. Not the followers that you interact with the most, every single follower. Yeah, I bet some
of you listeners got notified.
That I had put this fundraiser on my profile, which by the way, I didn't, not that I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, by the way,
I did not.
I went to your profile to check it out, didn't see it there. So what's up with that?
Wait, well, I didn't take it off either.
Maybe
it's only on
profile.
For like a day.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But like, it does tell everybody you know. But that's like a good thing, right? It's like hey, look, I donated. I'm a good Samaritan, and I'm better than you. And what's wrong with that? Why would you be upset about that?
Oh, it's off. It's off because it reached the goal.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But why would you be upset about that, Phoebe? Everybody just knowing that
I'm not.
You're a little bit better than them. Like, that kind of seems like your whole thing.
It was embarrassing to me that I knew that, like, because it's just like there's so many people that follow you on Instagram from like all
now we're gonna talk about Phoebe's huge follower list. Jeez, oh man,
just like all stages
You're
of your
a public
life.
figure.
No, it's just like all. Imagine I put that in my bio. One of
Public
these days.
figure.
So fucking funny. No, I was like thinking of all these people that follow me from like high school, middle school, like all these people, and it's just like they didn't need that notification.
Honestly, all those people probably saw it and were like, yep, Phoebe is still trying to let us know she's better than us. Okay. Virtue signaling. Just kidding. Well, I mean, hey, congrats on being a good person, I guess. You donated your hard-earned coin to somebody else. So that's good for you. I didn't. Good for you. That's why I don't donate. Just kidding, you guys. I donate. Okay, so well, did you have anything else you wanted to say? Was that the only thing that they're doing, like their war on privacy is just if you're donating, they want everybody to know? Like, well, they're also showing who's liking reels. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Because it confuses me a little bit because I was watching a reel the other day that like popped up on my Discover page. It was not something I would have like watched, you know what I mean? And I see the 3 little icons in the upper right hand.
And you think that
corner.
Means they liked that one.
Yeah, and I'm like, no way she liked this video. And then you click on it and it's like, no, do you just want to go watch some videos that they have liked? And it's like, well, hell yeah. No. And there are 2 types of people. Okay. Phoebe saying no is hilarious because Phoebe sends me 15 TikToks a day and then quizzes me on them later. So she's like, well, you didn't watch it. So now you have, it's different. Oh, sorry. It's different.
Well, the reels, I don't like reels on Instagram. Like I don't physically like them. And I only ever watch them when I'm in a space where I can't listen to videos with sound on.
I thought you were about to say, and I only ever watch them when I am in them.
No.
Which is also probably true.
No, I love those reels where they're like mixing different percentages of 2 colors of clay. Right. And then they like I love those ones.
I love the sand ones, you know. Those ones are
I don't love the sand
smushing.
ones. I know you like those ones. I like the silicone when they're making like different colored. They'll like put there's like this big clear thing of silicone, and then they'll put different colored little pieces of silicone in there, and you see what color it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I love those. I also love the car simulators where they're like what and especially when they all hate Teslas. Like and this is dating back to like the current war against Tesla. I would say that this person who makes these videos, they've just always hated Tesla, and it's like can this car pass these like 100-foot potholes, like, and they try all these different cars and they get to a Tesla and they don't even get to, they just like have gravity to smash it.
Kind of love that.
Anyway,
kind of love that.
So like those are kind of like the reels that I watch.
Okay, that's okay. Wow, I watch a lot of reels about as I said, the sand. I really like. I also like restocking videos. Really into those.
Oh, I like those too.
Love the sounds, but I'm also just like they make me feel bad about myself sometimes, and sometimes they make me feel better about myself because I watch them and I'm like, well, at least I'm not this girl,
Guys, last Sunday I cleaned my fridge.
Wow.
Cleaned it. I took
What
everything
possessed
out,
you to do that?
all the shelves out. I cleaned it.
Wow.
Just because I was like, wait, that's something an adult would do. So I did it.
Sometimes you have moments
And
like
I also, and I hadn't like had like I hadn't really gone grocery shopping since I got back from Georgia, like really gone. So when I came back all with like my actual groceries for the week, I was
like I have no choice, but
I need to clean this out.
Yeah.
And like, I may as well do the whole thing. I'm doing. I feel like I've really felt like an adult this week. I did.
Wow.
I'm changing my sheets today.
Wow.
First time since I moved in. Just kidding.
Oh my God. I was like, okay, Phoebe, I'm going to give you a chance to redact that
I change them. I change them every 2 weeks. Every
Okay.
2 weeks, I have it marked on my calendar.
Oh,
and I have 2
wow.
pairs of sheets, so it works. So that's the key. That makes it so
Yeah.
much easier to change your sheets. Is if you have multiple sets, then it's like I don't have to think about necessarily doing laundry today.
Right.
I just have to take the
Change
sheets
my
off the bed
sheets.
and do them.
More manageable, 100%.
I also have recently decided that there are certain things that it is better to bulk buy.
Okay.
Which is something
Like
that
what?
I used to be someone who was like, I don't want to spend $30 on 92 coffee pods.
Yeah.
If I can buy 12 for $5 right now. But if I buy the 92 pack from Target for $30, I don't have to buy it for a couple. And I did the math and it works out. That and like toilet paper and like different things. I feel like it's hard to people when they live alone, they don't want to have to justify buying in bulk. But there are some things that like any paper products, paper towels.
Well, might
plates.
I suggest, and this is crazy, but might I suggest you get on a subscribe and save with your coffee?
You know who uses that?
Who?
G Daddy.
You know who else uses it? Me. I love subscribe and save. Here's what's on my subscribe and save. Okay, I'll tell you. Clean towels. Are you familiar with these? They are biodegradable, single-use face towels, so you don't need to use.
Oh, I did see those on TikTok.
Yeah, I love them. You don't need to use your
'Cause you're not supposed to,
disgusting
like-
towel that has all your germs, like whatever. God forbid you use a hand towel. Like you just, so it's nice. They're thick and they like feel luxurious, but they're not bad for the environment. And I absolutely love them. So those are on subscribe and save. Next up on my subscribe and save are my Aquaphor hand masks because I do have eczema on my hands and my hands are very dry. And these hand masks are great. I don't use them as much as I need to though. So I actually can probably skip a few months, but those are like in every other month. But now that we're in the summer, I might not need them as much. And then the other thing that I just recently added was Cherry Coke Celsius, a pack that's only got that flavor in it. Hell yeah, that's on subscribe and save because I fucking love it. But I did find out recently that the Get-Go by my house also carries it. So if I need to like get a single, I can. Get a Lucy, I can.
Good.
But it's on subscribe and save. I really do like it because I don't have to think about it. And then it just comes. And there's always a little dopamine hit you get when you have a package delivered. And even better if you forgot about it, and it's like, oh my God, here you are. So I will say you'll save like a few cents if you do that too. And you could try it. But I feel like sometimes you're like,
I wonder
my God,
if I
is
could
it
do that with
clear?
Diet Coke.
You can. You can do it with anything you want, like anything.
I might
on
do
Amazon.
it with that because that's like. I feel like Diet Coke is, and also I think my Aldi stopped getting Diet Coke
Really?
in the months that I've been gone. The last
They're like
couple
the
times I've
only
been there,
person who was buying it hasn't been in here in a while, so we're just Xing it off the list.
Like, they have regular Coke the last couple times I've gone, and then they have like their brand
Yeah.
of Diet Cola.
So yeah, no thanks, no thanks in that. Okay, I have a couple things. I've got stories I gotta tell you about our parents that just had me LOLing this week. I think you're gonna enjoy. The first is, okay, so I was teaching a voice lesson in the studio, and guys, the studio that I teach in is in my parents' house in the basement, so we can sort of like hear everything the other person is doing. By the other person, I mean mom and dad, like walking around. They are loud walking around up there. The dogs, the TV, and I'm certain that they can hear me and my students singing. So riddle me this. I get into the studio, okay, and mom's laptop is in there. So I was like, okay, she's been in here, but I was like getting there right when my student was getting there. I didn't have time to bring her laptop. So I texted her, hey, your laptop is down here. This is the student in here right now. If you want to come down, you can say hi. But the song we were working on was Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Okay. Hard song to teach a kid. But that's the song we're working on. And so we do the lesson, and I had like a 15-minute break before my next lesson. And I'm just kind of like lounging, chillaxing in the studio. Dad comes down and he's like, oh, is mom in here? And I was like, no. And he's like, okay. And he leaves. And I was like, wait, I know you just heard me down here singing Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious with a kid. Did you think that was mom? Like, what did you think mom was doing down here that she would have been down here? I know you can hear me. I could hear you. Like, did you think mom was down here taking a voice lesson, singing that song from Mary Poppins? Like, I was baffled. I was like, why in the world would he think mom was down here? That is so funny. Don't you think? You're not even like basically did your fake laugh.
What did he say?
Nothing. He just came down and asked if mom was in here. No, he was like gone before I could even get a word out. He's like, is mom down? Where's mom? He's like, is mom down? Oh,
well,
no.
yes. Where's
mom? I was
mom?
like, no. He goes, are you just chilling? I said, well, I have a student in 3 minutes. So I'm not just like chilling. And then he left, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, wait, why in the world? Like, I know mom's computer's down here. But he had to have heard the unmistakable sound of SUPER. Like, I know he heard it. So what did you think that was mom? That's so funny to think about. Mom down in the studio singing Mary Poppins. And dad's
even
like, oh,
imagine if it wasn't. Imagine if he wasn't even thinking it was a lesson. Like, mom's been down there doing her like work, and she's been just singing that all day.
Did you think she was just like having a go on the piano? Like, did you hear the other voice in here singing like a first grade sounding kind of voice? Like, did you hear that? Like, I just am confused. So that's the first thing about dad. And then the next hilarious thing I have is that mom and I are having a conversation about Watch What Happens, because she was like, well, did you watch when Gabby and Dylan and Dorit were on? And I said, yes. And I said, I already know what you're going to say. You didn't like Gabby.
Mom hated her hair.
Well, she didn't like how Gabby talked. I was like,
she's never liked Gabby.
I know. And I was like, I knew you weren't going to like it. She's like, she just kept saying pussy. She just kept saying it. I was like, yeah. And she goes, and I think Andy was kind of annoyed. And I was like, well, I don't really. He always seems kind of annoyed. I was like, I don't think he really was. I think he kind of loved it, that he knew that she was saying some crazy shit on live. And he was like, hell yeah. Like, I think he kind of likes that. And she goes, but I think Dorit was pissed. Dorit, I bet you thought she was going to be the only one on that show that day. She was not happy she was sharing the stage with 2 others. And she didn't watch Traitors.
Especially with 2 others.
I know.
Because normally it's like, there's 2 of you.
Yeah.
How about what Teddy said on her podcast?
Well,
I sent you that reel?
Yeah, we'll get there. But I have to finish this about mom. So mom goes, but I don't know. Andy was stoned. And I was like... What? Like, what? And she says, yeah, well, I can always tell when he's stoned. And I was like, oh, you
my
can?
close personal friend. And you know that there are moms and housewives across the nation who have had that exact same conversation with someone.
I know. She's
they
like, well,
because they're these moms that really trually feel like they.
Well, then she got in on the joke.
This best friendship.
She started, because I kind of was
Andy.
like, I did a little giggle, like, because this is an insane thing for you to be saying right now. So I like did a little laugh, and mom was like, well, and because I know him so well. And she was like kidding, but I was like, yeah, but you really believe that? Like, you really just said to me, you can always tell when Andy Cohen is stoned. And I was like, really? Because I feel like he's usually like on coke. And mom was
pretty
like,
on.
Mom goes, no, well, he talks about it. He talks about that he smokes pot. He says he smokes pot every day. I was like, well, there you go. She goes, so I can always tell in his eyes. I can always tell when Andy is stoned. and so mom just said he was stoned that night. That's it. That's all it was.
Maybe that's why he seemed a little annoyed.
Yeah. It was just so funny. I was like, right, of course, you can always tell when Angie Cohen is high on weed. That's right, of course. Just mom is just so goofy. So anyway, that was just, I needed to tell you those two stories. I thought they would be
Well, we
funny.
also have to get to the bottom of whether or not Dad is watercolor painting.
Yeah, so dad sent a picture of a cardinal and a tree to the family group chat, and mom responds, maybe that will be your first watercolor. And then the group chat was stunned. Everyone was too stunned.
Everybody was silent.
Everyone was like, watercolor?
You know how I've been having those mom's just a girl moments. I also have been having those with dad a little bit because like
Dad's
dad and I watch a lot of the same obviously television during the day.
Yeah.
And there will be like these documentary commercials that play all day every day in between these shows. And one time when I was working from home, I had the news on and one of those commercials came on. And he was like, no, but I regret this. I regret how I responded. Because you know how sometimes you're not empathizing and you're not like thinking about him. You're just like, that's your dad.
I do just want to say, like, I have this moment with Phoebe all the time where I'm like, okay, that was not the reaction I wanted. So this is sort of Phoebe's thing where she's like,
oh my God.
So I kind of love knowing that you had a moment where you're like, I should have responded differently. Maybe one day you'll have that with me. Doubt it. Okay, I knew what you were saying.
Dad was like, he was like, I've been thinking that would be pretty interesting to watch. That about the documentary, and I was like, really? I talked
like,
badly
boring
about
as
the
fuck to
documentary, and like imagining dad watching TV in the background all day, and then being like, oh, I would like to watch that.
It is really cute. It is really
it makes me want to die a little bit, or like thinking about him like liking songs, like him finding Turnpike Troubadours, and being like loving them.
No, I know. Phoebe's having that time. By the way, guys, I'm turning 30 soon, and I want to do an episode that's like 30 things I learned by 30, because I think it might be like kind of fun, but I don't know if that should be on Patreon or on streaming. So if you guys are interested in that, but I also was like, I don't want it just to be me. Like, I want things that, because I feel like there are a lot of things that like I had that moment too, and I still deal with it, but like of realizing that your parents are just like people, like they're just people who are figuring it out.
I know you don't know who this TikToker is, but you would recognize her. It's the girl who did the Benson Boone thing. Okay. She did this TikTok about, she was like, she's getting older. I don't know how old she is. She's a little older than I am. And she was like, so I wanted to like talk about 5 things that I've really loved about aging. Oh, wow. And one of the things that she said was, I love, it's going to make me cry.
Oh, Jesus. Phoebe got her bleed today.
She was...
All right, I fixed her. I literally fixed her. She's not gonna cry anymore.
she was like, I love that when I look in the mirror, I see a little more of one of my parents every day. Like as I get older, like as a kid, people used to always tell me I look like my dad, I look like my mom, and I never saw it. And now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to see and what a gift.
I know.
To get to see your parents every day still.
I know. Well, I do see them every day. I see my parents every day almost.
Emotional.
So even when I'm not looking in the mirror, but especially when I'm looking in the mirror, because I got mom all over me. I got Georgia all over me.
Did you hear what Kathleen said about our podcast?
I don't know.
She said, I love listening to it because Caroline is just like you, George. And... but then Phoebe comes in with these dry little like responses, and it's like listening to you and Chris.
We're just like mom and dad. Look at that, you guys. This is how we grew up. Just listening to conversations just like this one, just like the one we're having right now. Every hour that you've listened to us converse on the podcast is we're just repeating what we heard mom and dad say.
Yeah, we have all the same special interests.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's sweet, and I've been like keeping a list. Like some of the things will be like sentimental and maybe like tear jerkers, and some of the things will be like just things I've learned that are good things to have learned. And for some reason, like turning 30 feels like such a massive like Like, I feel like there's like half of my life. I know it's not half, but for some reason, I just feel like everyone talks about like getting to your 30s as like this thing. And then
I think your 20s
you're so
feel like such a
tumultuous.
mountain to climb.
Yeah.
And also when you turn 20, it is like I think for a minute you're like, oh, I'm not a teenager anymore.
Yeah.
You have that moment.
You kind of feel like your life
still
is starting.
typically in college.
Yeah.
But you're also in like 30 feels you're kind of out of like having school transitions that feel like the big monumental moments in your life. Whereas like when you're turning from 19 to 20, your life isn't really
right.
Not that your life is going to change on April 14th. Like your life is still going to look pretty, but like it feels like that becomes more of the like marker and like rather than like when you graduate high school. I feel like 25 probably feels, not that it's the same, but like we have to come up with different markers.
Yeah, I kind of
lives.
resent you saying that. I kind of resent you saying that my life isn't going to change on April 14th because we don't actually know that. I could get discovered. I could literally get discovered.
You could get a call.
I could get discovered. I could get a call from
Moonves.
Julie Moonves. I could blow the fuck up. Okay, on my birthday. It's Monday. It's a business day, so like people are working. Anything could happen. So don't say that.
You're taking the day off, though. I'm sure.
Of course, I'm taking the day off. Of course. Yeah, like so anything could happen, and so don't try and like limit me like that.
Well, no, I just mean it. You know what I meant.
Yeah. No, I do, and it's true. I guess I think when I was turning, it's more like when I graduated college felt like turning like the new chapter,
20.
but it feels like your life is starting. You know, like it feels like okay, now I'm gonna like got to put my money where my mouth is and like do everything that I always said I was gonna do, and I feel like 30s is when you kind of just get to like settle in. You don't really have to prove it as much. Like you can kind of just
I know that this is a terrible example, but this is the first person that I thought of, and there's so many other ones, but I just saw a tweet.
If you, I swear to God, if you say Elizabeth Finch right now, I can't.
You know, someone worse. And maybe I should look up. Okay, J.K. Rowling didn't get published until she was 31.
We've got a million stories like that. Like Oprah, I think, has like, and I'm just
like all these
there are a
people,
million stars we could mention. But yeah,
I know,
like,
but yes,
it's inspiring to hear that.
saw. I didn't know that she was.
Yeah,
I thought she wrote the book earlier than that.
It's inspiring.
But like, there are these. You don't get like your life. I think that like, and I keep saying this: 30s are the new 20s. So like your life. I think people, because there's also become this recognition that like your 20s are really you just like getting your footing. It's like your toddler years of being an adult.
Yeah, you're just figuring out how to like keep your head up. Like literally, your toddler years. How do I keep my head up and my balance and like put one foot in front of the other? Like those are all the things you're trying to figure out. How do I like keep myself alive and also try to thrive? And it's like, sometimes you don't get to do both at the same time. Like, but I feel like when you hit your 30s a little bit, at least the way people talk about it, it seems like, I also think what I want to say, when I got married, my therapist was talking about how a lot of people, when they get married, they finally feel like safe and secure. And so oftentimes a lot of shit comes out of the woodwork when you get married, like a lot, or like have that sort of moment of, okay, now I feel like safe. And it's like, oh, I checked that box. I'm here where I'm going to be for hopefully the rest of my life. Now I can address all the things that I have been pushing away. And that happens with a lot of people. Obviously, you don't like really realize it until it happens. But a lot of people will, you know, uncover things about their past, or like if they have some sort of like lurking mental illness, it will start to show itself. And because you feel safe to go through the hard things. Like you're not going to lose this person. You're not going to like lose everything you have. Like it doesn't have to define you. And I feel like that similar thing could happen when you turn 30, where it's just like you have the space now to maybe try those things you were scared to do in your 20s because there's so much uncertainty
and you know
in your
yourself
20s
better.
and you know yourself better. You've learned a lot of things, and you've learned that life doesn't end when you turn 30, which is also a huge thing. So I think
our society is doing, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about stuff like that with my rotation, but our society is, at least portions of it, not all of it, because there's a lot of other stuff going on that I don't love in terms of the way that we talk about our bodies and all this stuff. But I do think that there are certain beloved celebrities who I think are doing a good job of reframing aging.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really exciting. And seeing the way that people are rallying around them through that and being excited to see different kinds of aging in Hollywood is a really positive sign. But I also think even just like influencers, like I mean, the Jake Shane, him talking to Mel Robbins about it, just the way that we frame our 20s is so different than it was when we were younger.
Hormone harmony. Road warriors, let's get real. Managing PMS can be difficult. When I get on to record the podcast with Caroline, it can be tough sometimes to lock into a cheerful mood. But good news, with the help of Hormone Harmony, I am able to manage my PMS and so much more. It helps me balance my moods and even improves my sleep quality. Hormone Harmony is dedicated to making women's lives better. One of the ways they achieve this is through science-backed herbal extracts called adaptogens. These help your body adapt to stressors. Hormone Harmony is third-party tested, non-GMO, and gluten and dairy-free. It's no wonder to me a new bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. If you can even believe it, for a limited time you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code PrettyLittlePodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code PrettyLittlePodcast for 15% off today.
Well, anywho, that episode is probably going to be something that we do. So let us know if you think you'd like to hear it. Maybe it'll be a real episode. Maybe it'll be on Patreon. All right, let's get into the pop culture because there's a lot. I saw Snow White. I'm assuming you haven't seen it yet, but I feel like you will.
No, not yet. I mean, probably.
Here's what I'm going to say.
There's not a ton out right now.
No, there's not. There's a lot of boy movies out. Which
So
I
I'll probably
feel like
have to go see
Snow White.
it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Kelly and I went, and Kelly had an exciting week, and I was like, I'm going to give her a little surprise because she's never gotten to sit in a D-box seat. And I was like, she's gotta. This is the perfect movie.
Imagine Kelly hates it.
She didn't like
Kelly's
it. Oh, she didn't like it.
This is the least relaxing thing I've ever done.
She did not care for it. It made her feel sick, and I can relate because I turned mine all the way up. So let's talk about that. So,
Caroline really likes to be immersed.
She's been wanting to
By
try.
the way, yesterday after you had told me that you guys watched Wicked after Frozen, I was talking to Jules and GC about it, and I had this realization mid-conversation that you meant you went to a production of Frozen. But I, in my head, was like, that makes perfect sense that Kelly, Anthony, and Caroline would sit and watch Frozen followed by Wicked.
No,
makes
we
perfect
went to
sense.
go see a stage production of Frozen Junior, and then we came home and watched Wicked.
Now, what is Frozen Junior?
It's shorter.
What's different about it?
It's shorter.
Okay.
It's a quick 60 min.
Well, I was just like, what's inappropriate?
Every show has like a junior version that like schools can do where it's just like less involved. It's shorter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like that. But actually, I'll tell you that Frozen the musical is like kind of inappropriate. Like I saw the tour and it has a lot of like, there's a song called Huja, and it's where they get the yoo-hoo, big summer blowout. It's that part. But everyone is there like in the sauna and they all are naked. And every single person has like a leaf. Like the women have a leaf over their boobs and over their bottom part. And the men only have a leaf over their dicks. And they do an entire like kick line. They all are like spread out across the stages. I believe it is the first number after intermission. And it is literally like, and they're all dancing, and there are parts where they turn to the side and they like, they're all in a line, the guys and girls, and they're naked. Yes. So like that obviously wasn't in Frozen Junior.
That's crazy. I love the song Monster.
Yeah, Monsters soundtrack. Obviously. There are a lot of like great additional songs in there. Monsters not in the junior version. Obviously, it's like a very hard song to sing. Why would they keep that
in there?
Well, I think Frozen honestly has a lot more adult jokes than we realize. And
yeah, but like that's very overt.
No, I know.
I feel like because
I was shocked.
It's like Lion King. Like if you go to Lion King on Broadway, people are expecting it to be like you can take your kids.
Well, and obviously, I literally went with Peyton, like I was with a child, and it was all like kids. Yeah, but I mean, it's just there. Yeah, there are a lot of lines though that like for like adults were laughing at that kids didn't get. I remember and that, but like in the junior version, obviously there aren't. So, but yeah, there's a whole scene where they're like naked, and I was like, oh my god, I was like blown away by it. So anyway, I saw Snow White and got Kelly's been wanting to do D-Box, but she like we go see a lot of like scary movies, and we're like, that's not really the vibe for this for her first time being
There've been
immersed.
a lot of scary movies out recently. I feel like
Yes.
that's all my Letterboxd is right now is scary movies, and I'm like, it's not because it's my favorite. It's just
what's
because there's so
out
much
that
of
like
it.
is piquing my interest at this time, you know?
Yeah.
And so none of those were like gonna be the one that we sit in a D-Box seat for. So Snow White seemed perfect. So I literally was like, all right, Kelly, surprise time. I'm getting us D-Box seats in the big ass theater, and we're gonna go in and watch Snow White. We were like one of like 3 people at the show. And it was
that's
Thursday,
nice.
and it came out on Friday. So I'm not surprised to see that Disney had like a pretty shitty box office weekend for this one. But anyway, we're in there, and
When I come home, I want to
up.
go see a movie in that.
Okay, let's do it. I turned mine all the way up. Phoebe, this was the most insane D-Box experience I've had, and I think I've had 3. And this was
Worse
like,
than Wicked?
yeah, this was like I was on a roller coaster, because there's the whole like when we go through with the 7 dwarves into the mine, it's literally like a roller coaster. So like there was that. There were like, I mean, Kelly was like, I was getting sick just watching you because she turned hers. I at one point reached over and turned hers up because I was like, maybe she's not experiencing it. I want her to experience it. And then she like turns
like,
it
"Stop."
down. Yeah. She like turns it down. I turned mine all the way up because I'm like, if I'm here and I'm doing this, I'm doing it. But I did feel seasick. My stomach was feeling sick, like nauseous.
How do you
But-
like enjoy your snacks and drink?
Well, the other thing is there's no tray. So I like ate my popcorn and then I
Also-
put it down. I was like, I gotta just like
PSA
pee
to the high
here.
schoolers that work at my AMC. Thank you guys for being chill. I mean, I wish you guys would amp it up a little bit, but like I've never felt judgment for my
Yeah,
order when they
no.
realize that I'm there alone.
What I want to say
You
to
know
the
what I
people
mean?
working at my Santa Mark is like, you can say hi. I know you know
I know
me.
you recognize
I know
me.
you know me. You can say hi.
I was telling Jules and GC about how I went there when I was like explaining certain like things that they're updating in our theater and like certain areas that are under construction. And I was like, one time I walked in and there was a plumber, and they were like, did the plumber ask you like where the leak was? Like, because I go.
You're like, oh,
every-
are you here for the? Yeah, let me show you. Actually, that they're
Yeah, let me
probably.
I've been calling about it.
Yeah, it's been me. I don't even know if they know where it is. Let me just follow me. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, I totally see that for you. All I'm saying is Snow White was a crazy movie to see in D-Box. It was like my chair was like,
How was the
zoom,
movie?
zoom, zoom. And Kelly was like, what the fuck? Because she had hers turned like all the way down and mine was all the way up. And so my chair's like, like shaking
Caroline's
next to her.
chair like has like a thing that extends and raises her chair up like it's an amusement park ride and starts like
It literally was like going around in circles. Like it was, I mean, I wasn't turning in circles, but like the chair was like it was crazy. The movie itself, okay, I didn't know Gal Gadot was like the worst actress ever. But
yeah.
she is.
And enough champagne to
She-
fill the Nile. That's her like line, you know?
Is so bad. Like she is the evil queen and she's gorgeous. But the other thing is her little like, you know how the evil queen wears that like thing over her head and it has
It's a little
like,
short in
widow's
this, right?
peak.
It doesn't go
It's
down
it's
as long.
not centered. It's literally not centered on her nose. And I was like gonna have a freaking freak out. I'm like, who? They were like, you know what? We don't want to talk to her, so just let her just keep filming. We don't want to talk to her about like changing it. I don't know. She was so bad, but Rachel Zegler. I mean, yes, is she just kind of intolerable? Of course. But the bitch can sing. It's giving Kurt saying she's difficult, but the bitch can sing. I mean, I could listen to
And I
Rachel
don't even
Zegler
think-
sing all the time.
What I will say about Rachel is like, sure, she has Aria-isms.
Yeah.
But
Who
she's not
doesn't?
difficult like Rachel Berry difficult.
No. And I mean, I'm just like, it's more
The reason
so-
people think she's difficult is just because she's outspoken.
and that's not even why I think she's difficult. Like, I just think she's kind of like pick me vibes every movie I've seen her in. You know, like that's more so
Yeah.
what it's just like she has the Aria disease. She can't help it. But the thing is, the other thing that's hard is like musical theater actors going to the screen. It's always a struggle. It just is. And like that's what I
And
realized
I think
about Snow White.
for you especially, because I feel like you feel like it's like your sister or like someone,
I'm, like,
your friend
girly.
up there, and
Yeah.
you like have to like defend. You feel
Protect.
like you
Protect,
are
of
on
course.
the clock
course.
for her now.
Of course. What I will say though is that I didn't realize this was like a full-fledged musicale, and the songs were fierce. I don't know if Kelly agreed with me, but we were leaving. I was like Googling during it, like who the fuck wrote this? Pasek and Paul. And if you don't know,
I
Pasek and Paul
know.
wrote Dear Evan Hansen and Greatest Showman. Like they're like a crazy composer duo. And they write amazing contemporary musical theater pieces. I was literally looking up the libretto so that I could like add it to my score. Libretto is just the script, right?
Asking the wrong girl.
Somebody will tell me. Anyway, I was like looking at the music book because I was like, all my kids are gonna want to sing these songs, and kind of I want to too. There was such a good song for the Evil Queen, and Gal Gadot just freaking botched it. So I think part of it was that I could see the vision. No, I could see the vision here. Also, a lot of good like alto songs. I could see the vision of the music.
Is she an alto? Rachel Zegler?
No, her songs were not alto songs, but the Evil Queen, yes. And I was like, she had 2 songs. I was like, I could fucking kill them. But I also want to sing the Snow White songs, but I think they're very high. But anyway, the music was great. Like, I honestly loved it. It had the classic music, of course, not Someday My Prince Will Come, of course, but it did have Whistle While We Work and stuff. And
right, because wait, isn't that where all of the original Rachel Zegler stuff comes from? Is that one interview she did where she was like, this is not.
She was like, fuck the 1937 Snow White. Like, it's so like they're obsessed with the patriarchy. It's all about like she does nothing and this prince comes to save her, and she sings the song Someday My Prince Will Come, and she was talking all about that. And so that's not how this one is. And the story has changed. Like, it's not. I'm pretty sure I went to the bathroom and I'm pretty sure she saves the prince.
Is it darker?
No. It's not dark.
Not interested.
The dwarfs have been a thing though that people were like upset about, I guess, that they didn't cast people who have dwarfism as the dwarves. And someone spoke out who I believe does have dwarfism and was like, honestly, it would be really hard to like cast all of the 7 dwarves that like can sing, that look the way you want them to look, that like fit with each other. Like, so this person was like, I think the best way to kind of do that would be doing CGI. But a lot of other people in the dwarfism community were like, well, this is taking jobs from us and you're trying really hard to be woke here, but like it's actually backfiring because those were opportunities for us. So that was sort of some of the discourse about it. But there was a lot of CGI. The animals were CGI, which is obvious, but they were done to look like Disney animals. And so in that way, I was like, they're not really going for realism, which is why I was like,
giving
maybe
like
that's
Enchanted.
Like, yeah, it is very much.
Well,
the
I also feel like
they
tried to make the dwarves look like the dwarves from the movie.
The original
you know what
movie.
I mean? Like
they look like CGI. Yeah,
they CGI'd them to like look like Smurfish kind of.
Yes, yeah. And honestly, the dwarfs had me cracking up. Like I thought were funny. I was laughing at them. They were like cute. Like, so I don't know. I mean, overall, would I see it again? No, but the music was really good. I just think also part of the reason it didn't do that well is because it's Snow White. It's not one of like the. Oh wait, this is what I needed to say though. Okay, they changed like everything about it, right? And they have her in these garments that are like earth tones, sort of like everyone's sort of in earth tones. And then she goes into the woods and she's wearing the iconic Snow White dress. And I literally was just like, they shouldn't have even had her wear it, or they should have just done one that's like inspired by it, because it didn't fit this movie at all. It looked like she was like superimposed with this fucking costume.
I also just feel like if you, and I haven't seen it, but I think that if you're going to change something about this classic story, just write a new story.
Just write a new story.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if like that iconic aspect of it isn't going to work,
well, it's like they
just make a new princess.
Or they could have just done a Snow White with that dress that was like inspired by it. I mean, it looks like they went to like Spirit Halloween and bought a Snow White costume and put it on her. Like, and then we've got like all these like very, again, like earth tones and natural elements around her. And she stuck out like a sore fucking thumb, like not in a good way. The dress I just didn't think it worked. I'd love to know what you guys thought if you see it. But anyway, that was all I want to say about Snow White. Did you see what Gwyneth Paltrow said about the intimacy coordinators? What is this movie she's doing?
It's Marty something.
Marty Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, that's why he's had that mustache for so long.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Okay.
And people are really hoping that next year's his Oscar for this.
Yeah, I hope so.
Namely Club Chalamet. She is like already campaigning.
Club Chalamet is the way that people
she like just tweeted
react to her is so fucking funny.
She just tweeted a week or two ago at A24. Please like give me XYZ access to the movie or something, I will make it worth your time. She is running this campaign. She's like, we're getting him the Oscar. Like he lost this year.
God,
He's getting the Oscar next. Like, sorry.
She's
Sorry,
like,
I don't think you know who you're dealing with.
She's like, I don't
Academy.
make the rules, but he's getting the Oscar. I actually do. I was dying at like after they announced Best Actor, and it was Adrian Brody, and she tweets, "The Academy made their decision. Period. Congratulations, Adrian. Period." So it was like, Club Chalamet has spoken. Like it was just like so.
And I loved her picture. She got into some sort of like official watch party for the Oscars, and she posted that picture of her legs crossed and the Oscars in the back, and she goes, "Let the show begin." Like she is like, she's fucking Seneca Crane in the like control room in Hunger Games.
So funny. Like I just love. I mean, honestly, Club Chalamet. I hope you take it home. Gwyneth Paltrow comes out talking about this, and I guess they're making out and stuff, and she's like, intimacy coordinators, like that wasn't even a thing. I'm from the era where you just get naked and get in bed and the cameras are rolling, and I'm like, well, that sucks. I just think it's such a like, you know, and let's not forget about GP, who like defended the fuck out of Harvey Weinstein, you know, like, so she, just because you weren't put in those situations, Gwen, where you felt uncomfortable, doesn't mean that other women weren't. I mean, there are some of our favorite movies, trigger warning. There are some of our favorite movies, like as a people, that the sex scene in that girl is being raped. Like that is true. And we know this, and this is out there. And that is why, like, jobs just don't exist for no reason. Like this job is there because there was a need and there was a demand for it. And it is a relatively new position, and we should be celebrating the progress and how much safer this is going to make movie sets moving forward, because like there is a need for them 100%. And Gwen, maybe it would be nice for you to think like, I would love for the young actors who come after me to have better protection than I did. Why are you not fighting for that? Like that just doesn't make any sense to me, you know? And for all we know, Timothée Chalamet was thrilled that intimacy coordinator was on set, you know? Like, but it's just how lucky you are that you don't see a need for them. You know, that's a very
and it's just a little bit like
viewpoint on that.
You don't have to. Just like you don't have to say anything.
You don't sound cool. It's so like pick me, you know, like I don't need the. Oh my god, like it's just okay. Well, you know what, Gwenny, this pretty much is in line with everything I know about you. So there we go. Will you please talk to me about this base bag claw machine and the controversy? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, I didn't see controversy.
Well,
I just saw the videos from the weekend.
That is what I wanted you to look up.
Wait, but I Googled it. I didn't see any controversy.
Well, there was controversy.
I just thought you wanted me to see what it was.
No.
Which is what I did.
There was controversy. So I'll talk about the controversy after you explain what it was.
Basically, in all these, let me make sure I get the name of the retailer right. Bloomingdale's?
Wait, no. Okay, wait. No.
Yes. And a bunch of Bloomingdale's across the country in New York, Miami.
Halt. That's what's happening now. We need to talk about what already happened. That's the damage control they're doing, is the Bloomingdale stuff. That's the damage control.
Oh, is this similar to the vending machine?
Yes.
With Poppy?
Yes.
Similar controversy?
Well, not the same, but it's a similar kind of vibe. So the controversy, and I didn't like look into all the details, but the controversy of this is that Base put together this like huge human claw machine for the base bags. I believe it was in California was the one they did. I don't remember. It was massive. Human claw machine. And they invited the public, but they also invited all these influencers. And the public was like waiting in line to do this for hours. And they'd get to the front of the line and an influencer would walk up, and the person who is like manning the claw machine would say, okay, excuse me, bring the influencer in front of the people who've been waiting in line. The influencer goes in and gets the bags that the person has been looking at, and a bunch of these people didn't get any bags because they gave all of them to the influencers who came. And like the influencers could just like roll up and they'd be like, oh, and here you go, and give them bags, or let them get, and by the time a lot of these people went, there were no bags left in the vending machine.
Here's what you should have done, Base. And I hope this wasn't Shay's doing, but as a company, I think the easiest solution in retrospect, I don't know if this would, I mean, now that we know what the controversy is, I don't know what it would have been like in the brainstorming room.
Right.
But I think maybe you get the influencers there, you have them doing the claw machine, but you have like an influencer package for them, so they're not actually taking what's in the claw machine, so that the people, or sorry, don't invite the public. Don't make it a public event. What I think they should have done
is maybe it's like a giveaway type thing where like people could have entered to go, you know, and you have to be local, and then like you could go, or you just need to make sure that you're going to have enough supplies for everyone who's going to show up and wait. And if people have been waiting in line all day and like they're being usurped by these influencers who are being given bags for free anyway, like that's a lot of what it was also with like the vending machine kind of thing for Poppy, where it's like, well, these influencers don't need the Poppy vending machine. They're not even hosting Super Bowl parties. They're going somewhere else. So, like, go put those places that like it could actually be of use to people. I think that was a similar
and have the
idea.
Influencer deliver them.
Right. Like I think it's this idea, and we're seeing this a lot. So base course corrected, and they're putting a bunch of these claw machines in Bloomingdale's around the country, but I believe it's not a human claw machine now. I believe it's like,
it's not.
Okay.
It's like
Can
a
you read
real
the caption?
one.
Do you have the caption?
Yes. So they posted after all of this controversy that I missed 4 days ago. They posted that they would have the base claw machine, not a human claw machine though. This weekend, we're popping up in Bloomingdale's across the nation, in New York, Miami, Long Island, which is New York. Pick a different fucking city. Chicago and Los Angeles. This whole weekend.
Yeah.
And it's a claw machine, no harness, no luggage, unless you snag a grand prize, but sweet prizes and best-selling base picks. And it's like...
And they're doing numbered wristbands, right? Is that what it says?
Clearly, they're like, yes, first come, first serve. You'll be issued a numbered wristband to participate upon arrival. Upon arrival, prize is not guaranteed. They're being much more clear about what to expect. And then we see videos of the claw machine.
It's a shame because what a cool idea.
Yeah. And it just didn't have to. And then when you see the claw machine, let me get a better.
So I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's smaller stuff and it's in the shape of a suitcase.
Oh, cute. Yeah. And I wonder if there will be like certain things in there that you could get out and it would be like, oh, you can redeem this for like the full size suitcase or something. So it's just interesting, but that's actually, I'm sorry not to like rag on you, but that is so fucking funny. I texted Phoebe, I was like, hey, can you like look into this, do a little research on the base claw thing, and not her missing the entire controversy. But people are pretty happy about the course correction. People are like, this is the right way to do
that's good.
Yeah, but it's just
maybe Southwest could take some notes instead of commenting back at people who are complaining snide remarks and then deleting them.
No way. They are? Yeah. They're responding with snide remarks?
This was like right after it. When they posted that thing that said it's not like we traded Luka. Do you remember when that happened with the basketball team?
Oh, yeah.
It was like a big thing. The teams traded. It was a shocking trade and people were really betrayed and upset. And so Southwest said it's not like we traded Luka, and then explained the policy in the carousel. And all these comments were really upset.
That's shocking.
Someone was like, you should offer one bag free XYZ. And then they responded, we are, if you're an A-list preferred or A-list member or something. Like they like all, and they're like all these snide. And I'm like, this is, are you crazy? Hospitality. You're going to cite hospitality as one of your like, that's what brings people to your airline. Now you're acting like it hasn't been the free bags and the no assigned seating.
Right.
And now you're going to act like this in the comments. I saw a TED talk of like a brand person talking about this, and they were like, they just kept botching it and putting the CEO on and saying that this was for profitability. That's never going to be a reason a customer wants to
we don't care.
Because
hey,
that's
we don't
not
care.
Our issue.
Yeah. We don't care about your profitability.
And you need, if this was going to be a change you were going to make, you needed to have a why that made sense to us.
Yeah.
We're doing this so that we can afford to do this for you.
Yep.
And they just missed the mark.
Yes.
So good job, base, and not doing that. And not getting...
Thank God, Shay.
Not getting animated.
We can't have Shay Mitchell being canceled.
Thank
not
God
on our watch.
Thank God a different Pretty Little Liars cast member is not the one in charge of this brand.
So true. Okay, let's talk about good hang. Amy Poehler's new podcast. I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. Best thing that's happened to me in months. Like, I was listening to it. I was like, can I slow this down? I want this to last forever. I want it to last
Especially the
forever.
beginning part of that first episode. That was so quick.
Guys, if you haven't listened, so Amy Poehler is doing this podcast and she's like, listen, I'm not giving you advice. I don't really care if you get better. I'm not like this. This is just, I just want to have a really good hang. And that's what the theme song is. And she's gonna have like her friends on the show. So she's 2 episodes out. We've got Tina Fey and Martin Short. Both are obviously incredible. But she starts the episode by calling in people that know them both just to talk about the person and like give me some questions to ask them. But it's really just sort of to like talk about them when they're not in the room, which is a very fun concept we obviously love. And so she starts the first one. And I mean, I was laughing so hard. She's got all these old SNL alum members, and Rachel Dratch is one of them. And she's getting on. She's like late. Her headphones are tangled. Then the doorbell rings. The dogs start going insane. She ordered food.
And she can't stop laughing when she gets on the chat. Seth Meyers goes, Dratch is in for the fucking pitch black. Of course, it's so her to get on a call, say that she's ready, and then be moving her computer to where she's actually going to set up, and her headphones aren't working, and then she finally settles.
And the doorbell rings.
This is scripted. The doorbell rings, and they're all like, "Oh, surely that's like the mailman or
like,
someone that
she's
you
like,
wouldn't
I
have
ordered
scheduled to have come here." Oh, sorry, I ordered food.
They are laughing so hard, and I'm like, I just need a track to fall asleep to that's just all of these people laughing together. And they're not, it's like when you and I laugh and we don't talk for like 30 seconds, but this was like that on steroids.
Listening to that felt like when we would like listen to Leanie, Liney, Sean, and Mom like laugh all together, and we're not in on the joke, but they don't even
so
there's
hard.
not even really a joke,
You
and
can't help but laugh with them. Yeah.
Yes, they get into that like wheezing laughter over something that like didn't even like happen, something that they thought. Yeah. I don't know.
And that's what it is.
So
it's this
funny.
Wheezing laughter, the silent laughter. And then what's so great is like you've got Seth Meyers and Fred Armisen, who are pretty like, their whole thing is they don't really laugh. Like they don't really, but they kind of like, you know, have like Seth has like the knowing smile, but they comment. And so when you hear them start laughing so hard, and finally when Fred Armisen like cracks and starts laughing and you hear it, and I wasn't watching, I was just listening, and it was just like, it felt like blankets. Like I was just like, this is the best. When I need to be in a good mood, I need to listen to this because I love these people, and hearing them laugh like this together is so fun. And then they have Tina come on, and she and Tina, the way they talk to each other, I mean, they have been working together for over 30 years, which is crazy. They have known each other longer than I've known you. Oh my God. Which feels unfair.
Longer than you will.
Okay, don't ever say that again, you fucking psycho. What does that mean? Which one of us is a goner? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Maybe both.
But
anyway.
Keep talking. I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, great. Okay. But
I'm in my Pat era.
I guess you are. She's running. You know what? And my day's better because I got to see Phoebe running to the bathroom on Zoom. Anyway, they talk to each other. I didn't want to be like, oh, everything's about me and Phoebe, but it did make me feel like they talk to each other the way me and Phoebe talk, because they actually can say anything to each other and they're not going to be offended. They're going to get that it's all for a laugh. Like, they're great at yes-anding each other, which is something Phoebe and I could probably work on. We could take some notes, but whatever. Oh, she's yelling something. I really mean more so me, you stupid bitch. Anyway. Well, maybe she's yelling because there's no toilet paper. I don't actually know, and I might never know. Anyway, okay. But yeah, it was just so funny the way they talk to each other and the way they talk about their like other people that they've both worked with and love. Like, it just, oh, she's back. Okay, it was a number 1. I mean, number 2. Wait, what's a number 1? It was a number 1. Oh, she's dancing. She's dancing and she's not wearing a bra. I'm just kidding. She's wearing 3 bras. Phoebe, we get it. You want it. You wish you had boobs bigger than me, but that's never going to happen. Okay. I mean, Amy and Tina are so fun to listen to, and they're so inspiring, and they're just like, I loved Tina talking about how she's working on this show, and she's like, well, I like handpicked everybody on the set, and that's something it's a huge privilege to get to do. But she's like, God, it makes a difference when everybody there is like a good fucking person. And
Right.
I just love them. I love them both so much. And then the Martin Short episode had me.
I haven't listened to that one yet.
Oh, Phoebe, there's this one part I love Martin Short. I think he is so funny. They are so funny together. They're talking about SNL COVID. And Amy's like, oh, yeah, like everybody got SNL COVID. And he's like, oh, yeah, everyone got it. I got it. Mike Myers got it. Meryl got it. And Amy's like, oh, but I was in a scene with Meryl. I was sitting next to Mike, and Martin goes, yeah, I know, you got nothing. The way he says it is like it's something you would love to have. Yeah, I know, you got nothing. And it was just hilarious, like about having SNL COVID. Yeah, I know, you got nothing. He just made me laugh so hard. He was talking about Selena Gomez. He was like, I was really expecting to like be annoyed with her. I was like, oh, Steve is gonna hate her. She's gonna be late. She'll be late. And she'll be blah, 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 blah. And he was like, Steve is just gonna hate her. And then he's like, well, Selena's never been a second late. And she is a total pro. She is the kindest person. She's so great.
She's
She's
Disney training.
I mean, yeah. He just went on and on about how amazing Selena is to work
good.
with. Which
That's
is
so
really
good
sweet.
to hear because
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's hard with her at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think
like sometimes she's tough.
Yeah.
So hearing that these pros, like these
Yes.
AAA listers,
Yes.
love her
Mm-hmm.
is really reassuring.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one thing, I think it was actually, I don't remember who it was, but I think Amy said it. She was like, I was talking to Steve and I was like, Steve, you were so great on Fallon. Like, I saw you on Fallon. Great job. And Steve goes, well, you have to kill every time. And she was like,
I remember that.
wow, that is so true. And it's not true for everybody, but if you are like at all in the comedy space, it's true. And Martin Short had a really great line later where he talks kind of about that. And he was like, I've realized that like, I don't really get to have a bad day. And so when I am having a bad day, but I'm still going to set, I need to now perform as the best version of myself. And he's like, when I go on those talk shows, like you just need to perform as the best version of yourself, telling the best story you got at a dinner party and just do that. And then it will be over. But like, he's like, that I think is one of the most valuable lessons you can have is like, you have to show up as the best version of yourself, even if you don't feel it. It was so good. I just absolutely loved it. If you haven't watched or listened, you absolutely must. It's amazing.
I also just love podcasts like that where they're like creative people talking shop. Like
and they
it's
both
so nice.
Hearing Tina,
it makes you like. It's honestly like in 30 years, what I hope that Seek Treatment is still around, and I hope that Kat and Pat are like at points in their career where the conversations on like they always talk about writing a TV show together, and I really want them to.
I would
like,
love it if they did.
I think it would be amazing, and I get the same feeling listening to their podcast as I do listening to Tina and Amy talk. I
also feel like that about Lost Coach, where it's just listening to creative, like-minded people who are inspiring and inspired, and like it's just great. They're just good people, and it was great to hear Tina and Amy talk about how they both listen to Lost Coach. I was like, that is so cool. Like, what a dream, and I don't know. It's like
something that they could have never dreamed of when they started the podcast.
I mean, never. And it's just so neat and it's so amazing. And I love it. So anyway, some good news is that Amy Poehler's new podcast is everything we always dreamt it would be. I meant to talk about this last week, Phoebe, and I have
Caroline sent me a text like seconds after we closed the recording. In a panic.
I was so pissed.
And I have no idea what she's talking about.
Did you listen to Millie Bobby Brown on Call Her Daddy?
No.
Okay. I did. And a couple things.
I haven't listened to Ellen Pompeo either. And actually, I do want to talk about Ellen Pompeo after this.
Okay.
I didn't add it to the agenda.
Ellen is great on Call Her Daddy as well. It's so cute because she walks in and she's like, well, my daughter is a huge Call Her Daddy fan.
That clip.
Yeah. And so her daughter, they were driving in the car together, and Ellen Pompeo, like, her daughter was holding her phone and she was driving, and she got an email from her agent, and she was like, oh, just will you read it to me? And so her daughter reads out loud and is like, oh my God, you got invited to be on Call Her Daddy. Mom, you're doing this. Mom, you are doing this. And she was like, okay, respond and tell him I'll do it. And so like she literally did it because her daughter thought, and then her daughter goes with her, which is so neat. Aww. And like all three of them were there together, and I just thought it was so cool. But She was like, Mom, she watches Grey's Anatomy. Like, you have got to go on. She loves you. She loves Grey's Anatomy. And she listens to everything. I'm like, that's so cute. But
imagine your mom being Meredith Grey.
I can't. You'll love the episode. You got to listen. She was cracking me up with all of her shit where she's like, anytime there were scenes where they're like, Meredith's going to do this or this. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, she was like, every moment like, I don't want to do that. But like, Meredith would do it, so I will. But like the pick me, choose me, love me line, Meredith says she didn't, or Ellen says she didn't want to say that. She was like, I don't want to say that. Like, are you serious? That is so weak. Like, I don't want to say that.
And she sold it.
And then she said that Shonda was like, just trust me on this, okay? Like, I know that this line is gonna be, yeah. So anyway, it's just interesting. But Millie,
did you see the TikTok they did of her walking?
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Like the crazy Meredith Grey walk. Yeah. So Millie Bobby Brown on Call Her Daddy. First of all, I didn't know that I was just gonna absolutely fall in love with Millie, but like love her. I didn't really know much about her as a person. She's fun and funny, and she also is a huge Call Her Daddy fan. She says she's listened to every single episode, which is like really cute when a fan is on the show. And so she was like, I'm so excited to be
so
here.
Cool
like,
for Alex.
Oh my God, I know. Like she was just, and it felt like they had been friends for years. Like, I don't know if you also saw like the videos.
That is
the
one of
promo
Alex's
videos.
superpowers, I think. Like, and I know that people like recently have their qualms with Alex right now and unwell and all this stuff. And some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. But I do like people oftentimes comment on her interviewing style.
Yeah.
And like talk down about it. And I'm like, I know she's not a fucking journalist, but like there is something to be said for the way that she has conversations with people. Clearly it's working. Clearly it's doing something.
And I think when you are someone like her, who her whole existence and job is to be unfiltered and unapologetically herself and just talking on a microphone and now building this brand, at some point, yeah, there are going to be things she does that we don't agree with and that like we don't think are right because she's being true to her brand. So like, it's like if she's being true to her brand, then she's bound to have controversy because it's who she is. So it's like, I think, and also at this point, like she's been in the media for however long, we're bound to see some, but I think she'll come out on top. I really do. I don't think that there's anything that's like so bad that she would be canceled at this point. But in terms of the fatigue and some business choices people aren't liking, but like, I mean, that's why the conversation with her and Ellen Pompeo was really powerful too, because Ellen's like, it's okay to fucking ask for money as a woman. And like, that's what I think Alex is like, you know, when the number of My First Deal got leaked, I was like, everything's over now. Like, and they said, I think someone said to Ellen, you need to be prepared for people not to be happy for you. When Ellen got her $20 million salary and she fought for it and it came out, Ellen was like, why would I be worried? And I think it was like her publicist who was like, well, you need to be prepared for people to not be happy for you. And Ellen was like, that hadn't even crossed my mind. Like, why would somebody not be happy for me? But
and why would anybody really care about someone else's salary like that?
So that's, I think, what Alex is going to start seeing.
Also, I think Alex has become, it's kind of like, she's kind of like the Taylor Swift of the podcasting space in a way of like, now it's kind of cool to not like her.
Yes.
And so it's cool to be on Sophia's side from drama that happened like fucking 5 years ago. So people are commenting on all the Call Her Daddy stuff. Like, man, Sophia really will like, Sophia will win. And it's like, I don't know. I think that I think time has shown that Alex made the right business decision.
I mean, at this point too, it's like if Sophia's going to win and if we're going to define winning as being more successful than Alex Cooper, then she better get cracking, you know, because the thing is Alex has a full ass empire and I don't know that Sophia does. So if she's going to win, I expect to see some crazy moves in the next few years. You know, if she's going to have to like surpass Alex Cooper, you better get started. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
The Millie interview though, she and Alex though, more so than other guests, seemed like best friends. Like they did this thing at the end where they released something like a promo for the episode and it's them on photo booth and it's both of them and then Alex goes, you may say I'm a dreamer. And Millie goes, oh, you bitch. And like, they just have this like funny little moment. I was like,
I feel like that might be something that comes from like podcasting. Like when you like, I feel like I would be so nervous to meet Bowen and Matt or Kat
oh my
and Pat.
God. Yeah.
But I do think that once we got into a groove, if we were to ever like do an episode with them, it would be like, at least for us, they don't listen to us, but like we would feel like we were just talking with our friends.
We just don't know. One day we're
40.
listening.
They're one of our 40.
40. One day we're listening and they're like, okay, so we're listening to this podcast. We love this podcast, a Pretty Little Podcast. And so anyway, what if one day, anyway,
I fall off the treadmill.
you were tumbling like, down the steps of the gym.
I crack my head open.
Phoebe's dead and I have to do the podcast by myself now. And that's what she meant when she said that Tina and Amy have known each other longer than I'm going to know Phoebe. and it all comes full circle. We cracked the case.
Yes.
So Millie on Call Her Daddy, though, they're talking. I mean, they're having this great conversation. I literally was like, I want to hang out with Millie Bobby Brown after hearing this. Did you know she lives across the street from her parents on a farm? With
her husband?
Yep. And she has 10 dogs that live inside the house. She's got a sanctuary on her property for like dogs that are going to be euthanized. And she's like 32 dogs there. She has like goats, chickens. She's like, I love cooking. I'm always cooking. I go and get the eggs from the chickens, and like we have like Taco Tuesday. That's how she says it. Like imagining her and a Bon Jovi having Taco Tuesday is just hilarious. But anyway, she was like,
Millie Bobby Bon Jovi Brown.
Wait, is his name Jake? Jake Bon Jovi?
I don't know.
Okay, I think it's Jake, so I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say Jake.
It's probably got to be a J.
Yeah.
Because JBJ is like their whole thing.
True. So Jake should be like, I need socks. And Jake will be like, okay, let's go to like Prada. And I'll be like, let's go to Target. And she's like explain. It was just like cute. But anyway, she's talking about their wedding and how she was like obsessed with being a bride and like loved planning her wedding. She's planning her sister's wedding now. It was the best time ever. And Alex is like, what are some of the like cheesiest, like most traditional wedding things you've done? And she was like, well, did you have a first dance? And Alex is like, no, we actually did a first shot. I'm like, right. And Millie's like, well,
I'm like,
right. And Millie's like, well, we had a first dance. I told Jake you could either have me dancing down the aisle or we do a choreographed first dance. And so he chose that. So for a year we were working on a dance and we did a 6-minute medley, Grease medley. Grease the musical.
Wait, why is this low-key 4th grade mom's dream wedding?
We had a 6-minute
wait, guys, famously our
Grease
mom
medley. Start with Summer Nights, and we went in through like, you know, we go together, like you're the one that I want, like we did like all of it, and everyone was obsessed. They loved it.
When she saw Grease as a 4th grader in theaters, she cried at the end because she didn't want to leave that world. She wanted to live in Greece. Think about that. You know that picture that mom has of herself on her little like thing at the bottom of the stairs of the attic?
Yes, I know exactly
that
the picture.
And she's holding that doll. Imagine that girl going to see
Shut up,
Grease
Phoebe.
and
Why are you doing
crying because she wants to live in Greece.
Yeah. That's how I felt about some things I hate about you. But I was in 8th grade. It's less cute.
Kind of different.
I don't know why, but okay. Anyway.
Because I knew you.
Right. So anyway, I'm sorry. How fucking funny is that? Meanwhile, she was like, people loved it. Like it was like their favorite thing about the wedding was this like 6-minute Grease medley we did. And she's like, and we're both like, Jake's an actor, I'm an actor. We performed it. Like we literally rehearsed it every day for a year with a choreographer. And it was like, we didn't miss a step. It was perfect.
Maybe I should do that at my wedding. Let's think. What musical?
Catch Me If You
Cabaret?
Can. Okay, a mashup of both. Perfect.
All my favorite musicals.
Perfect.
My spouse gets no input.
Phoebe
into what
walks out
songs
for
are
the
in it.
first dance and goes, Willkommen, bienvenue.
I'm in an outfit you guys could never expect.
She's literally got, for some reason, she took this very seriously. She's drawn on bruises and track marks on her body because that's the whole vibe of Cabaret. We're like, okay, like the whole place transforms into the Kit Kat Club. Alan Cumming officiates the wedding, which that part we knew. That part we knew would happen, but everything else is a surprise.
Okay, wait, guys, bucket list. We need to get famous enough that I can get Alan Cumming to officiate my wedding.
You guys heard it. If we could please,
guys, I'm putting
Mr.
that into
Cumming.
the universe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Hey, ask for it and you shall receive. Closed mouths don't get fed. He never would officiate.
Because you ask not.
He never would have officiated your wedding if you didn't just say it. So like you're
Yeah.
one step closer for sure. And you should be excited.
You're right.
You should feel excited about that. Anyway, I think it's so funny. Can you imagine? Why Greece? Imagine Millie Bobby Brown. You didn't give this enough, like, you didn't laugh enough at this. I've been waiting to talk about this for a week, and you're like, oh, cool. No, like, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. That
It
she
is.
did a
It's
6-minute
awesome.
Greece medley. It's not even awesome. It's like, what? Like, I saw your wedding, Millie Bobby Brown. You had the most gorgeous, luxurious, like, Vogue-esque
love
wedding
it.
I've ever seen, but your first dance was a Grease medley with a Bon Jovi, and I'm
That's
like,
epic.
I had a strict rule, no performances at my wedding, but when I think about it, with people, their favorite part of the wedding was the performance, was Lean on Me. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, that was so fun. And I'm like, you know, there is something to be said for, like,
I'm gonna
for
have
me,
to-
that's every day. But for the people who are going to your wedding, a show like that is so exciting and fun for them that, like, they actually love it.
I'm gonna have to choreograph something similar to your wedding and have the power go off or something.
You're gonna have
and this
to
time
figure
to
out how to
one
stage
up your
that, yeah.
wedding, to
Oh,
one
of
up your
course.
wedding. I'm gonna have Clyde and Addie in the rafters of the venue the whole time.
They're not
No one's
invited?
gonna know. No, they are invited, but they RSVP
But they're
no, and you're like, whoa, that's weird. That's weird.
Why
They
would I say
RSVP
that? I'm not
no.
getting your RSVPs, Phoebe. I'm not planning your wedding. Don't even
No, because I
start
tell
this.
you. Because I tell you.
And
I'm
I text
wow,
him like,
kinda-
guys, by the way, it is Clyde's birthday, and I haven't texted him yet because I've been doing this all day. So, Clyde, I'm getting to it.
Happy birthday, Clyde. They're suspended up there the whole time and nobody knows. And then the power goes out. And then a disco ball comes down and it starts there's light. And then, and then on either side of the disco ball, Clyde and Addie come down. They're suspended in midair.
Sort of like, did you guys hear about the base human claw machine?
Yes.
It's sort of like
so
that.
there's a track up there also so that they're now rotating along with the mirror ball. And they are performing a song of their choosing. Don't care what.
Okay.
A cappella.
I was saying Chandelier
And
by
then-
Sia, but if maybe.
No, I don't really want that.
Well, you
I
said
get
they
final
get to
say, but they get
choose.
to
I
no,
thought it
they
was a
get to choose. But
surprise.
I have to sign off.
God,
on
you
it.
are honestly Bridezilla. You're giving Bridezilla, I'm not gonna lie.
So yeah, that's kind of what's gonna happen at my wedding, and then Alan coming is gonna be like. Then my actual wish is that I get to sit in a chair. Everybody else has to leave, and Alan Cumming and the original cast of Cabaret
Right.
performs "Welcome" Men just for me.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know how we can make that happen, but we'll certainly try. Alan Cumming walks in and goes, ladies and gentlemen. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Leave your troubles outside.
In here, life is beautiful.
beautiful.
The bride is beautiful. Anyway, that was all I wanted to say. I just thought that was like so fucking funny.
Well, I did see a video of them around the time of their wedding where she walked into this room. It was a dark room, and on the projector was the video of her as a kid singing Imagine. And it's just them laughing at it.
Oh, well, she was like she said she doesn't get
anytime
embarrassed. She's like, I don't get embarrassed
Anytime-
at all. Like you can bring up anything. Like it doesn't embarrass me. I just think it's funny.
Anytime I am like, whoa, they were so young to get married, and then I learn something about their relationship, I'm like, wait, they just found it.
Yeah,
they just
found
knocked it out of the park, I think.
When you know. They seem really sweet. She was so likable. I was like, now I want to go watch Electric State, which I had no desire to watch, but now I do. And like, but I just thought it was so funny. I was like, that is a hilarious thing to learn about her wedding. Okay. I know we're running out of time. Did you hear about the astronauts who were stuck in space for 9 months?
Of course.
And they
I
were
watched
only
them come
supposed to be
home.
there for like a week.
Yeah.
So what were they doing? Because we know they weren't in space.
Well, here's what happened. No, Caroline, don't start this.
What, sir? What, Phoebe? Stop it. You're not true to yourself on this podcast anymore because you also know space isn't real. So what were they doing?
Well, they were in the sky.
Doing what? 9
working
months
on the space station.
Okay, question. Can I ask an insane question? What did they look like before they went
Yeah.
up? How old are they?
I think they look pretty much the same.
Okay, because I was like, did they age a million years?
Yeah, I wonder. I think in our universe, time, like in our little galaxy,
Yeah,
and
explain
time
this
pretty
to
much
me.
is the same.
Explain the
I could
concept
be
of
wrong.
time in the different universes, if you don't mind. Just quickly.
Well, I know that there are universes where planets, it would like an hour here
Yeah.
is like a million years there and vice versa. But I
Light
don't know
years.
if that happens in our solar system.
No, it does. Light years.
I know, but I don't know if that happens in our solar system.
does.
It happens in space.
Light years happen in our solar system, yes. When you are traveling out to the solar system.
Who's fake now? Who's fake now?
Well, light years doesn't mean space is real. Light years is just what happens in the sky. At a certain point, you start getting to light years or something. Whatever.
They
just
were
think
like
it's
basically
crazy. They were up there 9 months.
I think the International Space Station is like slightly above where satellites orbit. So they're not that far from where we are.
Oh. So
They're not like going to the moon or another planet.
Okay.
And it orbits. It's in our orbit.
So why were they up there
the
so
space
long?
station.
What happened?
They went up, and then there was an issue with the rocket or whatever ship was going to take them back
Oh my
down.
God.
So they got to the space station, and then they couldn't get back down. And then it just became this thing. It wasn't that we couldn't get them down. They could have left, I believe. But there's always stuff to do up there.
They fell in love.
And astronauts, no, they both have families.
Ah, well,
Which I am a little bit like, you guys were a little willing to stay up
That's what I was saying. Like,
not that you, I mean, but they were stuck. It's a little confusing with the way that people talk about it. Like, they were stuck, but there were other ship crews coming up and going back, and it just happened that they were always the ones staying. I think it's because the way that they organize it, it's like a ship can only take a certain number of people back, and it's probably a lot of paperwork to figure out who's coming back when and all this stuff. So if their ship that was supposed to take them back wasn't working, they were probably last. And apparently, I watched an interview with this person who, when they got returned, and they were like, astronauts, I mean, we want to stay in space as long as we can. Like, that's what we love. So
they
were
insane.
up there working.
They
were
crazy.
up there like doing shit.
Well,
they did a bunch of spacewalks and all this stuff,
did-
and then they came back down.
I did think they were just in that little thing for 9 months.
No. Did you see the
Them
I
landing?
also
Yes.
initially, when the story broke, I did think that
They were like
it was
lost in
just
space
them
for 9
two.
months. I thought they were fully
And-
lost in space for 9 months.
and I thought it was just them. I didn't realize they
Oh
were like
my
interacting
God,
with other
yeah.
people, and then the crew gets up there, and I'm like, well, there's a trillion people in space right now. But then, did you see the dolphins that greeted them when they landed?
I just saw them
They
go down.
literally, the thing goes down, and then there's like this pod of dolphins that keep
Dolphins. A pod of
Did I say
dolphins. Dolphin. Dolphin. Bill, y'all. No, that's
So
neat.
yeah,
Okay, well, thanks for explaining that to me. All right.
I don't know if I did a very good job.
Well, we'll find out. That's for sure. Why don't we go into our rotations? You're on Dream.
Yeah, first is Amanda Seyfried,
Okay.
because of her little Vogue makeup tutorial that she did. I didn't even watch the whole thing, but I think she's so pleasant. She's so enjoyable to listen to speak, and
Yeah.
just like,
She
I
is.
just think
She's got
she's-
a very calming vibe.
yeah, she's great. And also, she like with no fear, complete bare face, close to the camera,
Yeah.
showing us her skin routine, being honest about her eczema, and also like
Yeah.
it's clear she hasn't had that much work done, if
Yeah.
any. Like she's not aged very naturally, and I just think, and she looks beautiful.
You know what I
and,
want to
like,
sing when I look at her in that video? What would it be like to grow up that beautiful with your hair falling into place like dominoes? For real. That's her. I did repost on TikTok the clip where she's like, look, I do have great hair, but I also have eczema. So, and I was like, retweet because me too.
Yeah, I just think it's a really positive thing. And I think that like Reese Witherspoon is a good example. I think everybody on the White Lotus is pretty, like, I just think that a natural look is coming back, and I'm curious to see what happens to people with veneers.
I'm fucked with all the work
You know what
I've
I
had
mean?
done.
As veneers go out,
Yeah.
because like it's not even
Well,
like
they
these
don't have
people,
tape.
I know that. That's what I'm saying.
Take them off. Okay. If you got veneers a little too hastily, your punishment is you have to take them off and just have your normal ass teeth. Your little jagged little teeth. Like, guys, do
luck.
you know what it looks like underneath those? Not
It's
good.
scary.
Not good. Not good.
It's not good.
Also, like, veneers only last like 15 years. So in theory, you need to get them redone, and they're so expensive. Like, did these young stars really think that through? You know.
And I just think they're going to be, I think they're going to be out. I think people are kind of tired of the look of it. And it's not going to lend itself. Wasn't it Tina Fey that you said something about, like, if you're an actor, you shouldn't get any work done?
I don't
Or
know
who
if
said
it was her,
that?
but someone was just like, I just think if you have like veneers, if you have lip filler and like filler in your face, then like you're going to have a hard time getting cast, because in anything that's not contemporary, it's immediately like clocked it.
And
know?
also above that, you guys are all starting to look the same.
Yeah.
It's doing the same thing to your face, and you can't do as much with your face.
Well, and oftentimes like it doesn't look good is the other thing. Like the veneers, like the filler, it's all like a little bit too much because you go blind. Like it's like they say you get like blonde blindness, which I definitely feel like I have sometimes, where I'm like, I don't feel like I look blonde like I want to look. And then Kelly's like, you were like very blonde. So I just think sometimes like every time you go back, you're like, I'll do more. Like, you know, and people start doing that, but they start so young that it's just like by the time they're 30, they look so old too. And
I just think we should look at people like Amanda Seyfried, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon. I mean, I know these people have probably all gotten some kind of work done, but they've done it in a way where they still look like themselves.
Well, and I think there's a big difference between, because the thing is, what Lindsay Lohan did, I think she looks amazing. I would never tell her not to do it. So like the thing is, I think it's also like, if you're going to get work done, I urge you to be very diligent about like who you choose to go to, and like just because you're getting a bargain doesn't mean that that's actually a good place to go get someone to put needles in your face, or really think about it and be like, you know, do I actually think that I'm going to want to continue to do this for, because like, I don't know. I think getting some work done is fine. Like, do what's going to make you feel good in your skin and do what makes you feel good. But I think that like, if you're doing it because you're trying to fit this like unattainable definition of what it is to be attractive in 2025, then like we know that things go out of style. So I just wouldn't be trying to do,
that's another thing.
Like the veneers are very in, but like that they're going to be out. And then people who have veneers, like some of the things you're doing are actually irreversible. So you should think about that before you do it.
Yeah. But I've just been trying to get more into a headspace of like any wrinkles are a gift.
Yeah.
And we're like we are very lucky that we get to live into aging.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I'm 24, but I am as you get older,
me
you just
turning 30 soon, I'm not really feeling that way right now. I'm like, get the wrinkles away. I want the anti-aging.
I know,
like,
I know,
feel
but
that,
like I just try to remind myself like wrinkles are a sign of emotion and laughing.
Okay, Ariana Grande.
Did she say that?
Yeah. She was like, I'm proud of every new line on my face that I have because that's a joke or that's a blah, blah, blah. And she was like talking about like reversing all her work. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Or that's how I'm trying to feel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put that out there so that I feel that way when I look in the mirror.
Yes, I get it. I get it very much. Yeah.
But okay, so Amanda, and I just think seeing the comments on Amanda's side, it's like there's clearly a need and a want from the public to have people looking like they should.
Well, it's
like
also
real.
like it is exhausting to constantly be scrolling.
What's the next
and
thing that I have to think about what I have to do to myself?
All I'm doing is looking at people who I think look better than me. And the thing is, that's not how they actually look. And that's the thing, is it's like that like unattainable, like level of beauty that we think we have to get. And it's like, there's a reason you can't get it naturally. You know, it's because it's
Hasn't anybody
not
watched The
look.
Substance?
Did you guys see The
Hasn't
Substance?
anybody
It's this little
watched
indie
it?
film that kind of approaches this topic. You should definitely check it out. Also, Freaky Friday.
Well, yes, coming
Kind
back.
of okay. The Substance kind of ripped off Freaky Friday.
And speak on it.
And I'm gonna speak on that next. But let's finish your rotation.
And then it's just I always whenever I like write Amy Poehler's name down or go to make a note about something Amy Poehler did for this, I write Leslie. Every time.
Why?
Leslie Knope.
Oh, I was like, that's insane.
Imagine if she never played someone
I was
named
like,
Leslie.
no, literally, I was like, you're just pulling this name out of thin air. Like, okay, we hated Leslie Stone on Pretty Little Liars. Let's not forget we hated Leslie Stone. Okay,
Leslie with an I or
Leslie
with
with
an
an
E.
I.
Who knows?
Oh no.
On a day.
Wait,
And so it's Amy Poehler and everybody on that pod. That's the
Okay.
rest of my rotation.
but so you only had two specific people?
Well, Amy Poehler, but I can't pick.
No, I'm just
But
confirming
I just
that
want
I
to be
didn't
in that
miss
Zoom
something
room.
here.
No,
It was
Amanda
her,
Seyfried, and
Amanda
then
Seyfried, and then, like
all those people
right, all those people. Okay, well, all right.
on the podcast.
No, I
Rachel
know what
Dratch,
you're
she's been on the
talking
podcast
about.
before.
Yeah,
Seth
on our
Meyers,
podcast. Yes,
Armisen.
we know. There was one hilarious joke that Fred did to Martin Short where they were at SNL 50 or whatever, and Martin Short like is speaking to Paul McCartney and like goes away or whatever, and Fred Armisen later on is like, hey, great job, but why did you call him Tony McCartney? And Martin Short was like,
just to psych him out.
Martin Short was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, you called him Tony. Why did you call him Tony? And Martin Short is like, oh my God. And like Fred didn't know that Marty didn't know he was joking. So like they didn't, whatever. So it's like days later and Martin like says it to somebody. He's like, God, like I'm such a dunce. Like I called him Tony McCartney. And Fred had to like text Martin and be like, hey, I heard you're like still thinking about this. Like I was joking. You did not call him Tony. He talked about Fred Armisen so much. He also said that there would be times you're like, you walk by Fred Armisen's dressing room and Fred's like sitting there on his phone, and then you go in and be like, hey Fred, and he go and he just starts snoring and pretend to be asleep. It's just like so funny. Anyway,
That is so funny.
my rotation. Okay, first up, I'm going to put Phoebe Connell. And here's why. The main reason is because I wanted to talk about Severance with her, and she's not watching the penultimate episode and the final episode of season 2 until a week from now, which is pissing me off. It's annoying.
From now, 4 days, three sleeps.
That's still too much. It's annoying. You're annoying me with that. Okay, so that's first. Next up is going to be Grant from Temptation Island, because now
We didn't even talk about Temptation Island.
I know. We didn't get to it. We need to discuss it at some point, but they're now allowed to speak online, and they are doing so. And so they're all going live, like absolutely all the time. And Natalie and Ashley are like going live together. And we found out that when they left the island, Grant and Natalie were dating, and he cheated on Natalie with Ashley.
And Ashley didn't know that they were dating?
I guess he told Ashley they weren't together or whatever. And so then they hook up, and then he goes back to Natalie. Natalie's like, I'm done, like breaks up with him. And now Ashley's done too, but she's not. She's so manipulated by him. He publishes all these screenshots of texts of Ashley being like, I love you. And he's like, see, look, like whatever, like it's horrible. He calls her while she is on live with Natalie and starts screaming at her. And she's on live, and everyone hears it.
Does he know?
Yes, he knew. She was on live. You need to go watch it. It's on TikTok. Then I saw
Is that what you sent me and Amber?
Yes, I sent you 2, because there's another live where Kay says, well, Tyler and I didn't even get off the island. I never plan on dating him after the show. I never plan on being with him after. And I was like, then why did you just like, I mean, honestly, I'm glad Taylor's out of there, but
together.
like, I'm like, but then okay.
Especially
like,
the way he acted in the end. I was
I
like, you're
know.
such an asshole.
But
like,
so I'm kind of glad he didn't
like,
like get the girl in the end. Like, I'm glad he like got fucked. But like, it does make me kind of like annoyed with Kay, low key, because I'm just like, I know that was like your role on the show. She's like a super fan of the show, also. She's like a huge love.
Well, it's just like, why would you? Why, like, there were a lot of girls in there that clearly, like the girl that Lino brought on his date. It's like clearly some of these girls did have the guy's best interest.
Yes. Well, I mean, and I can't remember her name right now, but the girl that
Amaya,
yeah, who Brianna's like, get out, like it was like shitty to her when she was like, wait, you had a threesome? I think you're a bad guy now.
Yeah.
Like, Grant's a piece of shit. All the guys are pieces of shit, but especially Grant. And like hearing him yelling at Ashley, I'm like, this poor fucking girl, like just disgusting. So he's next. And then finally, I'm gonna put Forever 21, but not because like I hate them, but because they are closing. They're going bankrupt. What an end of an era, honestly, that Forever 21 is no more. And what I will say is every single piece of clothing I've ever purchased from Forever 21 was a wear once and throw away. Okay. And so that's not a sustainable business model. Sorry, guys. It's just not. And no one will always be 21. And nobody should be dressing like they're 21 when they're not. And even 21-year-olds really shouldn't be dressing like how you think 21-year-olds should be dressing. Okay. There, I said it.
It is an end of an era, though.
It's kind of crazy. I'm kind of stunned and shocked that they couldn't keep it together.
Like my kids are never gonna know what Forever 21 is.
I know, because I used to love, like, I'd be like, if I have
just going in
$12
there.
to my name, I can get a whole outfit at Forever 21, and I can go to school tomorrow looking fresh as fuck. You know, that was like the vibe. And I remember doing that quite often because Dad worked in the waterfront, so we'd like go on Sundays, and then that was the
back
only
when
place
that was the only Forever
that there was a
21
Forever
we
21,
had.
and we would go in, and it was just
I
it was
loved
the
that
best.
office
I
and that
know.
movie theater.
So fun. Southside used to be so popping, and it's just not now.
I know, and it's so funny that like that was always, to me, that was Southside, and then when you get older, Southside is
Carson Street, and it's like, oh, totally different.
It's like
vibe.
it's like wait, these connect. If I walk far enough, I'm gonna reach
get
the
to the
Cheesecake Factory.
So, and that's enough to keep me going. Okay. All right, guys, that's the end of my rotation. I'm just putting Forever 21 on there, and I don't even know if they belong there, but right now they do. Right now they just
end
do.
of Forever 21.
End of Forever 21. End of an era. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you're watching Temptation Island, let us know. If you're not watching, you need to start. It's the one on Netflix, the new one. And if you want to hear us talk about it next week, let us know, because we didn't get too into it today. But I have a feeling a lot of drama is going to come out over this next week, because they're all allowed to talk, and they are all
I wish it was a little bit longer, so that it had, like, I feel like if the show were a few more episodes, it maybe, and I know it's different. It's hard to compare it to Love Island, because Love Island is like every day,
5 times a week.
But I do think it would have gotten a little bigger if it had a little bit, like, you had to watch a little more. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like there was,
you know what I mean?
Or if they'd rolled it out a little bit differently, where it gave people time, like if they did like here
I
your
didn't even
first
really hear
3
about
episodes, and then
then
we're gonna do like something like that. They also, there was like no promo for it. I felt like I didn't see like any promotion of this. But they're officially not having a reunion, and so a lot of the people are like, well, we're gonna come out on here on social media and tell you
why
what's
wouldn't they
happened
have a
since.
reunion?
I don't know, but that's like Natalie said, we're not having a reunion, so we're all coming on social media and we're going to tell you what's been happening since on social. So that is a reason to go down the rabbit hole, because they are living on live and we have so many videos and it's just great.
Love it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you so much. Go listen to our Pretty Little Punch Bowl episode from Friday. We did Pretty Little Liars and Taylor Swift. We are doing the pilot of Girls this weekend for Honorary Connell Sisters, so don't miss that. And of course, on Thursday, our recap of season 6, episode 18 of Pretty Little Liars. Thank you so much for listening. We love you. Please go leave us a 5-star review. We love you so much, and we will see you next week.
And splat.